Hi everyone, my name is David Rao and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, a variety of other places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. So I'm here in my classroom today and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about how I teach the Itsy Bitsy Spider, some of the resources I use, sort of how I scaffold the lesson, and then talk a little bit about how I tie in some life lessons, I tie in some curriculum, I tie in theme and variation, and just sort of share that process a little bit with you. So I think you could teach this song with kindergarten, first grade, maybe second grade if you really wanted to, if you wanted to take some of the things that you've done in other grades and maybe level it for another grade. This is one of the songs that I think that a lot of us would put in the category of like, they probably already know that one. And honestly, yes, probably a lot of them do, but not all of our students know this song. And even if they do know the song, that doesn't mean it's not worth teaching in class, because even though kids are, might know the song, they love this song. And so it's a great song to use for, especially if you're going to take the song and like adapt it or change it or do things with it. Because if they already know it, then they already have some prior knowledge. And even if they don't, then this is a good one that's they'll pick up pretty quickly, because probably some of them do know the song. So when I'm first teaching the song, I actually don't tell them I'm teaching the song. I say, I have this song, but actually I have a friend, and it's this friend right here. Oh my gosh, but let me just tell you, he's a spider. And some people don't like spiders, but he's a pretty friendly spider. Isn't he a nice little spider? And I don't even know, honestly, where I got this. I think I got this particular this particular puppet from like a teacher garage sale, or online, like one of the music teacher buy-sell trade groups. I can't really remember. His name is actually Sammy the Spider. This is the like mascot version. I've looked him up later from like a book series for young Jewish children that like Sammy the Spider teaches them about like Rosh Hashanah and like Hanukkah and stuff. And there's like a book series, I think. I looked this up a couple of years ago. But anyway, here's the puppet I found. I liked it because it's not a super creepy puppet, sort of rainbow colors and fun. So especially for younger kids who like maybe actually don't like spiders, he's sort of a good friendly version. So, but I do talk with kids about spiders. I'm like, why? Like some people are scared of spiders, but should they be scared of spiders? You don't have to be, because spiders are actually nice creatures, and they're, because they eat bugs that like bother us, and they eat flies, and like, spiders don't bother you unless you bother them, and they're sort of, anyway, the course last week, I'm telling this story, and a girl raises her hand, and we're working on, is it a question or is it a story, She's like, it's a question. I'm like, okay. She's like, once I was in the park and I had to go potty, and I found a bush, but in the bush was a spider. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, we don't really have time for this, but I really want to go back and ask, like, what do you mean you had to go potty and you found a bush? But anyway, we're just leave that. So anyway, she goes on, she's like, I found a spider in the bush, and he was kind to me. And then a fly came along and he ate it. And I was thankful for that. And I was like, great. And your question, anyway, but it's a fun moment to talk about, are spiders mean or are spiders bad? Anyway, so this spider, we talk about why does a spider, where does a spider get its food? It has to find its own food. It can't go to the grocery store and just get food from the spider aisle, because that doesn't exist. And then I make my hilarious joke that none of the kindergartners laugh at, where I say he goes to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal. He gets some bug nuggets with a side of flies, and they like don't get. Anyway, so we talk about how spiders have to catch their food. How do they do that? They use this like sticky net sort of a thing called a web. And where do they make those? They should make them where the stuff, the bugs fly. Should they make their web like in a box? No, because flies don't fly there. Should they make their web under a desk? No, they should. And so we talk about why they would make their web where something flies, and how do they catch them and all that. The point being, like, I want to give kids some context to like the story and why is the spider climbing up a house. The other thing that I always try and talk about before we actually sing the song, because like once you sing the song, bam, their brain is on sing mode, and they like want to do the sing, want to do the actions, and we can't think through some of the text. And I say this a lot, but like if I'm going to teach a song with new vocabulary or vocabulary that like I want students to understand, I feel like I'm failing students if I don't stop and actually talk about that vocabulary. So like in this song, what is a water spout? because I don't know that a lot of kids understand that terminology. Maybe they know the word downspout, but even then, probably not. So I have this PowerPoint. I made this set years and years ago. A lot of times for songs, if I'm teaching a song, especially folk songs, which have like pretty tricky vocabulary or an interesting history, I've made these folk song sets that I have on my Teachers Pay Teachers store. But this one for Itsy Bitsy Spider gives a little bit of context about some of the vocabulary. So for a lot of songs, the reason I started making these sets was years and years ago. I was like, I wish I had all the resources in one place: the vocabulary, the history, the music, the extra lyrics, all in one spot. So that's what I did, and I made the set. But this one for Itsy Bitsy Spider, gosh, I'm sorry, the camera is flipped. I don't think I can fix that now. No, I don't think I can change that. Nope, that's my back of my closet. Okay, sorry, Facebook, it's backwards. But you could talk about the history. You could do all of that if you wanted. What does itsy bitsy mean? We do talk about that. I'll talk about that in just a second. But the downspout, the water spout, I like having a picture of this so they sort of can see like, okay, the gutter connects to a downspout. That's how the water gets down off of the house. And kids know what that is. They've seen that. But if you don't really talk about what that is, then maybe it doesn't really make sense to them. We also talk about itsy bitsy. That's another word that just means small. And I say, what are other words that mean itsy bitsy? And they're like, small, tiny, itty bitty, eensy weensy, teensy tiny. You know, like what are some other ways that you could make the word smaller or make a word sound small? So I go through and I do put up a couple pictures, especially of the downspout. I think that's really important to have that picture, so kids, when they say water spout, they like know what we're talking about. Because without that context, I feel like not all kids would get it. I don't use the word water spout. I say downspout, or I don't know, maybe you use that where you live, and maybe all kids know that, I don't know, but my kids don't. And so I also like to say, like, hey, the next time you go outside, or you go home, or you go wherever you go, can you look on the side of the house and see if you can find one? Actually, in my old classroom, right by the window, if you looked out the window, you could see a downspout on the side of the school, and I loved that, and now I don't have my classroom doesn't have windows. None. No skylights, window. I feel like I'm in a terrarium all day long. It's like I don't know. Is it snowing? Is it cold? Is it sunny? I don't know. Anyway, rant. Moving on. So when I teach this song, we always talk about some of those things, and then we sing the song, right? So a lot of kids know it. There's this like sort of standard finger play set of actions, and finger play is just like any sort of actions that you use your fingers to tell the story. So in this song, we do the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout, down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. And I do the one where your fingers switch index finger to thumb, sort of over and over as you go. And you could, kids could do this if they hook their thumbs together, then they have 8 fingers. So for the 8 legs of the spider, we could do that version if we want, but this is a pretty big spider. So we do the itsy bitsy one, like, oh, look how tiny it is. It's only this big. And that's usually why I say like our fingers go together like this to make the very small spider going up the spout. And sometimes we'll even talk through the story. Oh, there was a spider trying to get to the top of the house to make its web, and it said, I'm going to use the spider highway, which was not a spider highway. It was actually the downspout on the side of the house, and it was going up and up and up, and it made it halfway up, and then it went. Do you feel that? Is that did somebody turn on the shower? Or oh no, it's rain. Rain is coming down and it's hitting the roof and it's going down the downspout, and I'm going to be washed away. And suddenly it gets washed away. So the first day with this lesson, it's usually the introduction of the lesson. We take 5-10 minutes, walk through the song, sing the song, give all that context, give some of those things, some of the backstory so that kids understand all the language in the song, and then we just sing through the song a couple times. With actions, and that's usually where I end the song for the day. And we do talk about spiders and what do spiders do, and are spiders good, and this spider's such a nice spider. Anyway, the second time they come into the room for the next lesson in the week, I say, oh, do you remember the story about that little tiny dragonfly that we did last? Oh wait, no, it was not a dragonfly. It was the teeny tiny grasshopper. No, it was the super small cicada. No, it was and they're like, it's the itsy bitsy spider, right? And so even in just doing that, I'm having them access their prior knowledge, and we're reinforcing that the word teeny tiny or itsy bitsy or eensy weensy or whatever word you choose to use means very small, right? And then say, okay, so let me go grab my spider really quick because that was such a fun, nice little spider. And anyway, and then I go, oh my goodness, the spider I thought was over there I found a different spider instead. Look at this. Oh my goodness, this huge spider. Ooh, this one does not look like the other one. The other one is like so nice and rainbow colored. This one's like big and black and furry and crazy. Oh my goodness. Now, sometimes when you see something like this, you get a little surprised. And sometimes kids say, oh, you scared me. Like, I opened the door the other day and there was a kid across the hall washing his hands after using the bathroom. And he goes, oh, Mr. Rao, you scared me. And I was like, did I scare you or did I surprise you? And he was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not scared. I just was a little startled. And I was like, right, so are you scared or are you like startled or surprised? It's like, oh, I was surprised. I always, in my classes, K1 and 2, go over, are you scared, are you surprised? Because it's like a little thing, but it's teaching kids like, you're in control of your emotions. Yes, that was surprising, but are you scared? Do you need to be scared? No, scared is different. And so like, I always talk about that, usually in this lesson, because I want them to think through that difference, because in case something happens later on, I won't want them to think like, I'm scared, but like, no, I'm in control of my emotions, but for a second, I was surprised. Anyway, so I have that moment with kids, and I say, but do I really need to be scared of this spider? Because I was surprised, but now that I think about the spider, is it really scary? Not really, it's big, but, are you a scary spider? No. In fact, I like other things that are not scary. Like, what do you like? I like eating marshmallows. Oh. And watching Bluey. Oh, Bluey's great. And also Finding Nemo. Oh, that's great. And I love playing Gaga Ball. And I'm very good at it because look at all my legs. Yeah, right. So anyway, I bring this spider over and I set it down and I go, this spider is not itsy bitsy. It's pretty big. But our song's the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Let's sing that again. So we sing the Itsy Bitsy Spider, and then I go, but this spider is not itsy bitsy. It's a big, like ginormous, like huge spider. Can you think of any other words that mean like big? And so we go through a bunch of words that mean big, and we say, big, is it the same as little, or is it different? It's different. It's actually like the opposite, right? So we talk about that. And then I say, but can we sing the big, ginormous spider? Yeah, let's do it. The big, ginormous spider went up. So we sing through a version of that, and then I go, okay, but what if we had a different spider? One that was like fast. A fast spider that like maybe it could almost make it all the way to the top of the water spout before the water gets it. The very fast spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. And you can do the whole song fast. Oh, but what's the opposite of like fast? What could we do? Slow. Okay, yeah. So the very slow spider went up. So then we go through and we try the song with opposites that we can think of. So we start with small and big, and then I'll introduce one, maybe fast and slow, and then I let kids come up with examples of what's an opposite that we could use for the spider. So like on and off would not work for the spider. Lights can turn on and off. Machines can be on or off. Spiders can't be on or off. So what's one that we could use? And so we go through some examples. There are some hilarious ones. I've got loud and quiet. I've got hot and cold. The cold one shivers on its way up the house, and the hot one actually likes when the water comes down and rinses it off, because then that cools it off. I mean, kids are thinking about, when I get in the pool, it cools me off. So those are some of the ones that kids have come through. Fast and slow, hot and cold, big and little we do, sleepy and awake. They come up with all sorts of interesting things. I try them all. But if the kids come up with something that's like not actually an opposite, like a lot of kids in several of my classes, if we do little and big, and then some will be like medium. Well, that's not really an opposite. That's another size. Big and little are like the very ends of the sizes, right? Like there's big is on one end and small is on the other, and middle is in the middle, but it's not really like the opposite. You go like way over here is super hot and way over here is super cold, and the middle is like a medium temperature. Oh, wait, medium can sort of be on each one, but it's not the opposite end, right? So we sort of talk through some of that, but it's really fun to see what kids can come up with and to just try it. And so like one was like, I think inspired by this spider, was like furry and not furry. And I was like, okay, how are we going to show that with our hand? And so like, they're like furry and not furry. I was like, okay, let's try it. And so, it's fun to see what kids can come up with and see where that takes you. But this is one where like again, because in kindergarten, we're talking a lot about musical opposites, and we do talk about fast versus slow, and we do talk about loud versus soft, and we do talk about some of that. This is a easy application. And like I said, because a lot of kids know this song, it's not like you're doing a ton of teaching, but you're just taking the song and changing it and applying it. Also, it's super fun because you can then talk about scared, surprised, and Halloween. So like some people like being scared and surprised, and that's fun. And so this is a fun song for that. You can also then talk about life cycle, about science things. You can bring in any of those elements if you want. If your school has an initiative for that, you can definitely talk about more of that. But I think it's a fun song that then you can use for a lot of different things. Even if you're just like, we're just going to sing it. That's great, because even think about like ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da, da, 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 da. You got to swinged notes in there. It's not just straight eighths. So like there's a lot that comes from this song. Great exposure for kids. A lot of great chances for vocabulary. And I personally like to take it to the level where you do the musical opposites and sing it different ways. Sing it fast, sing it slow, sing it loud, sing it quiet, do all of that. If you have other ideas about how you use this, please leave them in the comments, or say like, here's another thing you could try if you want. I'm going to try and track down Sammy the Spider puppet. I don't know if it's sold online anymore. Like I said, I think I got it from like a teacher garage sale, so I'm not sure if you can buy it, but I'm going to try and find that, and I'll put that on in the comments or on the links page. Also, I'll put the Itsy Bitsy Spider, the PowerPoint I showed that has the image of the downspout. I'll put this in the comments too, so you can access that if you want, and put on the links page. Okay, I hope this was helpful and gave you some ideas of what you could do with this song if you want. Thanks for coming and joining me in my classroom. Like I said, if you have other ideas, other things that you want to share, please put those in the comments so other people who watch the video can see that too. All right, have a great night, everyone. Bye.